Okay, sorry about that. I had this on my list of things to do to get my iPad, but I forgot to look at my list of things to do. I did turn off the air conditioning, so where it wouldn't be blaring. I have to get this loaded up right quick because I'm going to try and look at my comments on my iPad. And also my friend Jana, which is here. Hey Jana, thank you so much. She's helping me tonight to help with the questions. So y'all, this is my first time doing this, as y'all know, if you've been watching. And Tommy has set me up, and I assume everything's working good. Somebody said it's coming in loud and clear. So I assume everything is working. If it's not, I don't know how to fix it. So, and you know what? I probably don't know how to make the comments come up on here. There's live chat. Okay, there it is. Okay, it just may be easier for me not to look at that screen. Anyway, you know, every day when we start, every Sunday, it seems like every Sunday afternoon we have thunder. And we have had rain during the show, but today it started thundering, I guess, around 2 or 3 o'clock. And it thundered for a while, and it has been storming. And so it has just got as good. It has just cleared off. We have thunderstorms sitting right on top of us. So anyway, so I guess we're going to be good with the electricity and everything. You never know when you live in the country how it's going to be. So anyway, we talked a little bit last week about canning and everything, and I've been canning this week. I made muscadine jelly. I did the juice first. We did a video on that, and then we did muscadine jelly video. So anyway, I don't have the capability to show you parts of the video like Tommy does. I'm very limited with that. Tommy's the one that tells me, he's the one that loads all the video. He pushes all the buttons to get this going. And so I have my instructions all written down. This is my instructions right there. And and I actually had to have instructions how to stop this thing too. But anyway, I hope it'll be good. And I hope that y'all will give me some of your feedback. I'm interested to know about some of your canning tips and some of the things that you do. Anyway, one of the things I did, I forgot to do a video, was I made pepper sauce. And this is my Papa's recipe. And that's what kind of got me thinking about doing this show on canning. Because when I first started canning, this is the book that I used. It was left at the house that we had bought. And I was talking with a friend of mine that's an experienced canner. And this has been, let's see, I wrote the year. This book is in 1974 is when it was printed. Now, no, I was not canning in 1974. I wasn't quite 10 yet. But my friend, this book was just left at a house that we had bought. And so my friend, Therese, told me, you need a new canning book. So she bought me a new canning book because it has more up-to-date information on it. And so now this is the book that I actually have bought a new one because to see if they had different recipes and stuff. I really didn't think that they had any newer recipes. But anyway, some of the information is outdated in that old canning book, but it's not as outdated as you would think. One of the things that it doesn't tell you to do a hot water bath on your jelly. And if you watch my video, you'll see that I didn't do a hot water bath on my jelly. I don't suggest you do that. Follow the instructions of the jelly recipe you're using and whatever you feel is a safe method. But anyway, I forget the name of the pectin that I was using, but it didn't call for doing the hot water bath, and maybe I should have done that. I don't know. But anyway, my jelly did turn out good. I actually made 28 jars. And look, I'm going to show you. Tommy's going to laugh at me. I can show you a picture. Let me show you. This is how I do pictures. Let's see. See if I can get that on there. There's my picture of my jelly. 28 jars of it. And it's very good. And of course, everybody's doing muscadine this or muscadine that. I did freeze some muscadines to make, to throw in. I do kombucha. I thought that would be a good flavoring for kombucha. So, and I am going to make some more jelly to give as gifts. My mom's in a nursing home, and she'll be coming home at the end of the month, and so we're going to give that as little prizes and little gifts. And I do that for Christmas too. I give jelly as gifts. But that is one difference that was in the old canning book opposed to the new canning book. But my pepper sauce, and I meant to film it and I just forgot. I've gotten so bad about doing that, is I'll start doing something and then I forget it. But anyway, I looked up the recipes for the pepper sauce in the books, even the old book. The old book actually calls for 2 cups of vinegar and 2 cups of water. And the new book just calls for 6 cups of vinegar and 2 cups of water. So the new book is not calling for as much acid to be added as the old book, which I was kind of surprised, because to me they have added more times to some things. But oh, Jana says somebody wants a video on kombucha. I can do that. I've got my kombucha going right now, and it's got a lot of probiotics, and I really like the kombucha. Everybody does. Everybody likes the kombucha. Our favorite is strawberry kombucha or blueberry kombucha. So, but we haven't tried muscadine, so we'll see. My next batch, that's what I'm doing, is muscadine kombucha. But anyway, this hot sauce is just straight vinegar. This is cayenne peppers. And this is what my pawpaw did. And of course, it's a very clean jar. And this is a jar my friend Therese saved for me, a bottle. And it is straight vinegar, and you bring it to a boil, and then you pour it over your cleaned peppers. Now, that is not in the book to do. I don't know if that's safe or not, so it would be at your own risk if you decide to do it. But that's my pawpaw's recipe, and he lived to be 106 and made it pretty good. So hopefully it'll be good for years to come. The recipe will continue to work. But anyway, one thing I was surprised that there was a recipe to make sauerkraut, of course, in the old book, the way that, how to make sauerkraut. And in the new book, it was the exact same recipe. That they do both say to do a hot water bath once you've through with the fermentation. But we just put ours in the refrigerator. I did make some for the first time this year because of the probiotics. I really don't like it. And my mom's been in the nursing home since we started, since we were able to eat it, since it was past the fermentation time. So she has eaten sauerkraut before, so she'll be able to tell me, what she thinks about it. But anyway, I'm not crazy about it. Tommy has eaten it. He's had a few issues with his digestive tract, and he has eaten it, and he don't mind it. I can eat it in, just a little bit at a time, but I'm just not a taste that I've ever had before, and not one that I'm crazy about. But anyway, I'd like to hear from y'all what's some different old family recipes that you use now. I know that I have some family. Now, I always do the canner, the pressure canner, to do my snap beans, but I have family that does the hot water bath and just boils them for a long time. I think it's like 3 hours in the hot water bath, which of course they do not suggest doing anymore because of botulism and everything. But just different things like that. And somebody had asked, when we did a test earlier, somebody had asked about canning meat. And that's something, I think it may have been Kitty, but that's something I've never done, but it's something I want to do. Every year I want to do it, but the last couple of years we just haven't gotten enough deer meat to really play with that. But I really would like to do that. Anyway, I've about gone through all of my notes, so I really need some feedback from y'all. Yeah, Donald says that he loves cabbage, but he don't like sauerkraut. I'm the same way. I like cabbage, but I don't like sauerkraut. Grizz asks if you can ferment jelly. I don't know about fermenting jelly, but in the old ball book, it does give the recipe to make jelly the old-fashioned way, where you don't really add pectin, where you boil it down. And I was surprised in the new book it also gives the recipe to make apple jelly and maybe even crabapple jelly without additional pectin. One thing the old book had was how to make blackberry jelly without adding pectin to it. So Brenda says she cans meat all the time. That is just something I really need to see some videos on it and everything. I'm a little nervous, more nervous about meat than I am about vegetables. I guess I shouldn't be. But the main reason I would like to have it is just where I wouldn't be so reliant on my freezer all the time, because that's what we do. We freeze our meat. I haven't even made jerky, which I want to do. But I'm interested in all different ways of preserving our food. Yeah, Kitty says you can can meat, it's just a longer processing time. And you know, I guess that's a drawback to it too, is you know, I'm a kind of a hyper person, and having to sit over it and just taking the time. To me, canning with the pressure canner, you know, I do a pressure pot on the stove. I use my electric pressure pot, my Instapot that I absolutely love. I'm not scared of them, but when I've got that gauge sitting on the top telling me what pounds of pressure it's at, and I'm watching it so nervously that it's going to go up too high, it is a little nerve-wracking to me. And the thought of how, I think, Kitty, you tell me, is it like an hour and 35 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes, something like that, to can certain types of meat? So that's a long time. I would need a few books, I think, to thumb through where I wouldn't get bored, because when I'm using my pressure canner, I'm in the kitchen right there with the pressure cooker towards me, where I can see that gauge, because that does make me nervous. And like I tell you, I'm not nervous about using a pressure pot or an electric pressure cooker. I'm just, you know, but that does. So anyway. And you know, somebody, let's see, Orphan Lady says that she's canned a lot of meat, chicken, pork, beef, and corned beef. My mama likes corned beef. I really don't even know what that is. But that's one thing, you know, we do lose power. We have, you know, hurricanes and, you know, different things. We've actually lost power when it was cold, when we've had snow and ice. Not that often, but you know, it would have been nice to not have to open. And then I think about Katrina. You know, I had to open my freezer some to get some of our food out, because I didn't have canned meat. But anyway, so that would just be a huge convenience. And I feel like I try and do freezer things where we don't eat out. You know, when you're fixing to run out and leave and you think, oh, I'm going to be gone at lunchtime, let me eat right quick. Well, you can have a good meal, but so I have things I can pull out the freezer. I would like things like that I can pull out that is canned, you know. So, and let's see, Kitty says you just can meat longer. It's 30 minutes, you know. So anyway, but that is just really something. I do have a friend that makes chili sauce. I'm not sure that she puts meat in it, but I would love to be able to can spaghetti gravy, chili. I would like to can chili. Just, you know, things that are convenience foods that I don't buy anymore that I used to buy. Would buy jars of ragu to make lasagna with, or to make a quick spaghetti. I used to buy canned chili, only Hormel with no beans, but to put on hot dogs. But I don't do that anymore, because I try not to eat the processed canned foods and stuff. So anyway, let's see. Y'all are talking about something canning. And my friend Therese has taught me a lot about canning. That's what it's so good. It's so good. It's so good just with us having the community that we're building right now with the Homestead Network. It's so important to have community and to have people that you can talk to, that you can ask questions of with canning, because you can't learn everything in books. A lot of it's experience, and a lot of it helps to just be able to talk to people, other people that have done it, that can be an encouragement. Like Kitty, you know, I can other stuff, but I'm a little apprehensive about meat, but that's an encouragement to me that it's just a longer time. That's it. It's just a longer time. So let's see. Rain Country said that thinks canned meat's the best, even hamburger, great straight out of the jar. Wow. And see, let's see, Roy and Faye said that their grandparents preserved pork. See, and I've heard that you can't do a real greasy meat, that you're not supposed to have too much fat, that you've got to take some extra steps with that. Oh, former Mimo, I understand. She just says she canned meat for the first time and she's scared to taste it. Well, I understand that because that was one thing I wanted to bring up. Through doing the farmers market, they had kind of changed the rules on us, and they said if you're going to be cooking, like bringing bread like I was bringing, or sweets or anything, that you had to go to, oh, now I forgot what they called the training. But anyway, a training. And then they would come certify your kitchen and all that for just for farmers markets, not to be selling to the public or anything. But they also had an acidified foods class and the other class to tell you how to do that, to be able to sell it and all this. And I'm gonna tell you something. I was scared to eat my canned stuff once I got through with that class. They made you so scared to death that you're going to kill yourself and your family if you eat home canned stuff. It was just, I mean, they didn't tell us that, but just the information they gave, it was just really scary. But anyway, I got over that finally, but I really didn't eat my snap beans for a while because I was a little scared of them. But the way I do my snap beans, I do pressure can them, which is supposed to kill botulism. That's your big, ugly, hairy thing that you're really scared of when you're talking about canned food. And then when I cook my snap beans, I put them in a pressure pot. And I don't, that's on the stove pressure pot, and I pressure them for 5 minutes. So I don't know what pounds of pressure that is because that pot doesn't have a gauge. It has the little jiggler on top. But anyway, so that was an experience. And I'll never forget, they were talking about pickles and everything. And, I put my pickles in jars and I put my liquid in, the vinegar, and I followed the recipe in the book and everything. But they were talking about testing the pH of the pickles, and you had to keep all these records, and you had to keep a log book, and once they reached a certain pH, then you could can them. And I'm like, well, that's not how I do it. I already put them in the jars, and they're sealed, and all this kind of stuff. They said, well, you can't do it like that to be able to sell them to the public. You have to do them in batches and all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, anyway, the rules changed after that. We went through that for a year. I had to have the kitchen certified, or maybe twice I had this kitchen certified. I'm not sure, but it was a very loose certification. It wasn't the same as restaurants and everything, but it was considered cottage food. But now we have a new cottage food law, and we allow selling of pickles and stuff like that at the market. So we just hope that everybody is following good safety measures with your canned stuff. And I do. When the book suggests a hot water bath, I do a hot water bath. When the book suggests pressure canning, I do pressure canning. I was a little confused on my tomatoes this year, but I ended up doing the hot water bath. But and now, in the old book they said to it was just your tomatoes in there and everything. And the times have changed. The old book was 10 to 15 minutes, 10 minutes for pints, 15 minutes for quarts, and a hot water bath. The new book says 40 minutes for pints, 45 minutes for quarts, and to add lemon juice. And I was going to look that up to where I could tell you exactly, but from what I understand, the reason they are wanting you to add the lemon juice is because the tomatoes do not have as much acid as they used to have because of the soil and everything. But, I think, my soil hasn't been formed that much, and my tomatoes should grow like tomatoes should grow. And I am using heirloom. I haven't used, I'm not using tomatoes that have been changed a lot. So anyway, that's a difference that I found in the book too. But what are some things that I was wondering why there wasn't any new messages, and I have to scroll up on my little iPad thing. And somebody, Kentucky Homestead said bacon is one. Now, how do you can bacon? I guess it's already cooked. And do you cook it more when it comes out of the can? That's what I was wondering. And Wheatree says he raw packs chicken and beef. I was wondering about the long processing time, how that would work out. So if you raw pack, then that's where you cook it. Is there a hot pack with meat? I'm really not sure about that. Like I said, I haven't, you know, really read up on it even. And that's what I need to do between now and hunting season, because I am determined we are going to put more deer in the freezer, or in jars. That, yeah, let's say that. I'm going to put more deer in jars this year. Yeah, that's another thing. Redhead Ranch said that taco fillings. And see, that would be a cool thing to have. That would just be a quick, fast meal, and it would be one that's good for you. And here's some. Let's see. Yeah, and see barbecue also. See, that would be such a quick, easy meal too. Oh, roast beef takes an hour and a half. See, I just think that that would be a very, very good thing to have. So, but anyway, oh yeah, that's right. Kitty said that if you buy a pH tester, that's right. They did say that's how you would have to have done the pickles, is with a pH tester. But I mean, what do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about these peppers in boiled vinegar? I mean, it's 5% acidity, or however you say that word. Um, so I mean, is that? I mean, it's been sufficient. It was sufficient for my papa's life. I just wonder what's the difference now as to then. Okay, Rain Country said that 90 minutes for quarts, 75 minutes for pints. Oh, wow. Lisa Park says she cans all of their meat. That's great. That would be so nice to not have to have so much room in the freezer, because, when you're looking, now it's mainly me and Tommy and my mom. The kids are home on the weekends and stuff, but so we don't have to have as much meat, but right now we have three freezers, not counting the freezer on the refrigerator. You know, hey Tans. All right, he says, Roy and Faye says, Patty, that is the way I still do it. Oh, with the peppers. Oh, okay. Very good, very good. And you're still living too, huh? So, um, yeah, yeah, that's what Kitty said, that our fruits and vegetables just don't contain the same nutrients. But I think it's going back to the soil. So I wonder if they tested some of our vegetables that are being grown on the land that we're replenishing, rather than just taking away and putting chemicals back on it. I just wonder what the chemical makeup, what ours be, um, more like they used to be. I don't know. I don't know. I've just wondered about that. Um, but anyway, let's see. That's what Tommy says. I fly through my time. Well, I've talked 30 minutes anyway. That's what's hard about being one person on here. At least Tommy will take time and talk, and we can bounce things off of each other. But it's really hard to. And I thank you for your encouraging comments too. But anyway, oh, Tom, we do not eat Nutra. We don't eat that, and I wouldn't. So Tommy's lying if he said that. I think of it smelling like a possum, and I've smelled a possum before. What other jellies do I make? I make, I do peach jelly sometimes. A friend of mine orders in bulk with some Mennonite people that she's friends with, and I get to get in on that order, and I'll get, I think it's a 20-pound box of peaches, and I also get apples too, and I've made apple jelly. I'll make blueberry, I think, is about my favorite jelly, and I don't make it as often as I make the other jelly. Of course, I make strawberry figs. We really like the strawberry fig jelly, and I do fig preserves with the sugar. And oh wow, Brenda says she canned 18 pints of chili beans today. That's awesome. The only beans that I can is green beans. I did try canning pink eye purple hull one year just to try them to see how we liked them, and they were good. And I like the ease of just, I cooked them a little more once they were out of the jar. But anyway, let's see. Tommy's talking to me. Let's see. Let me see. I'm gonna have a bunch of things going. I don't know if I can handle it. He said to FaceTime him and he'll join the show. I was going to see if I have FaceTime on my mama's iPad because Jana's helping me on my phone. I don't see FaceTime on here. I'm back. There it is. Look, I tell y'all, what's that? Oh, well, it's asking for IDs, and I don't know about that. So, technically challenged, is it? To a certain extent. Oh. Michelle's Crafts, that's funny. I thought you accidentally hit the wrong button. Frog jam. Figs, raspberry, orange, and ginger. Let's see. All right. Well, Tommy, I don't know where my FaceTime button is. There it is. There you are. Now, how's this gonna work? I don't know. We'll see if it's gonna work. Anyway, I'll have some help. No, you're driving. You ain't supposed to be doing this. They can't.
No, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at the road.
I can't do this. All right, say hey to everybody. There's your picture up there.
Hey, everybody.
You shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, and I don't know if I'm be able to see Jana's messages come up. No. Yeah, I got it. Michelle, that was a funny, but that's right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jared had a dehydrator question.
Oh, I didn't see it.
He wanted to know if you ever dehydrated whole okra pods.
Well,
You can tell that story about trying to learn how to do those.
yeah. I love those whole okra pods that you can buy. That are just so wonderful, crunchy and everything, and they just are delicious. And I have tried doing the dehydrated okra like that. So if anybody has the recipe on how to do that, please, 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 I beg you to share it with me because I really, really like it. I will go buy okra. My okra, I didn't make okra this year, and so I will go and buy okra to make it. But I haven't figured it out. The okra that I make, it's too hard. It's not the right texture, and I'm not sure. I've tried putting oil on it. I've read recipes with that, and then it turns oil. I don't know. I've played with different things, and I can't figure it out.
But it's an awesome snack.
Somebody's wanting to know how you can see questions if you're driving.
I can't now.
He says he can't now. All right, Jana, you have dried okra that you dried yourself. That's the little whole okra pods. I've dried okra and I can reconstitute it, but the little whole dried okra pods, I think Jared and I have actually talked about that before. If I found that recipe, I could almost get rich at the farmer's market because nobody sells it here. And we just love it. Tommy, it's making a funny noise.
It's probably because I was trying to adjust the volume. Is that better?
Yeah. What's some other stuff that you can that's not your typical oh, Jana. Well, Jana, I want your recipe. Jana says she has the recipe for the little small dried okra. Woo!
Oh,
I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah, Tennessee Sue says it may be freeze-dried and not dehydrated. You're very right, and I wondered the same thing because it's not as shriveled as like dehydrated okra. So, anyway, I love it. But that's what Jana's saying, that it's like okra chips, and that's what I just really like them. That's just a great healthy snack. So, I also oh, dilly beans. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did do some of those early when the snap beans were coming in so good. Um, and let me set that right there. We really like those. We like the pickled, I call them pickled snap beans, dilly beans. I think it's kind of the same thing. Oh, Jarrett says that they're labeled as dehydrated, but who knows? You know what they could be something else. But yeah, but the dilly beans. Now this is one thing that I played with this year, and I didn't make a lot of cucumbers, but I dehydrated cucumbers, and I also dehydrated cucumbers that I had soaked in vinegar to make like cucumber chips, and I brought some to the market just to give out for tastes and samples, just to get some feedback from people, and it went over really good. So I grow the Japanese long cucumbers, which, you know, I'm out of the picture. Let's see, as long as your arm, you know, as long as your arm is, and they stay real small, and the seeds are very small too. And so actually I used to get the seeds from Baker Creek Seed company, but they've not had them for the last 2 years. And I actually was cleaning up in the office, and tucked up on a shelf I found an envelope with Japanese long cucumber seeds, and I planted them, and and they were from 2012, and everyone came up. So they came up, but I planted most of them out in the big garden, and the big garden did not do well. And so I sold a few cucumbers, but I didn't have near enough if I wanted to dehydrate them and everything. So I'm going to definitely do that next year. I plan to do that. If the Lord blesses the cucumbers coming in, I will do that. Oh, red, I can still see you. Redhead Ranch says he cans lemon juice. So I guess he's growing fresh lemons. That's hard for us to do here. You know, we're in the South, but and Jana may have more luck where she's at. She's a little further south than me, I believe. But we always tend to get some freezes, and you have to cover your lemon trees. Now, what did I say? He's further up north? I don't know what I said, but anyway, he can grow lemons where we can't. We have a harder time anyway. Norm says, have you tried Armenian cucumbers yet? And I don't know if that's to me or not, but no, I've never actually heard of those cucumbers before. And I guess I'm pronouncing that right too. You know, Tommy is the English major, so I might be saying that wrong. I say a lot of things wrong, so anyway, but I have enjoyed my dehydrator, and I do want to dehydrate more things. I've dehydrated squash. I really like squash. I like zucchini, but I'm just not nuts about it to do like chips. I just, you know, I'm just not crazy about it. So anyway, I thought of something else I want to say, and now I forgot it. I'm going to have to try those cucumbers. Oh, Redhead's in Sacramento, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, and you grow the lemons in the greenhouse. Let's see.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. Can everybody else hear me?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm listening to FaceTime.
I'm
I've got a bad
oh
connection to
yeah, Janice
FaceTime.
says yeah, everything's fine. So
All right,
everything's
bye.
all right. Bye, babe. Love you.
That's it.
All right, Tommy's gone. He needs to drive anyway. So, oh, apple butter in the crock pot. And then I guess then you can the apple butter, Brenda? You know, Grizz is talking about he tried fermenting peppers, and uh, that's one thing that I want to find out more about is the fermenting. I find it funny that in the looking at the old canning book to the new canning book, the fermenting is exactly the same. You know, some of the other ones are the same too, but that's exactly the same. Um, Yeah, I love. I still have some of the dehydrated onions that I bought. They were on sale. I don't grow my own onions. I've tried and I didn't do too well, but I will try again because I really would like to be able to grow my own onions. But I dehydrated some that they were on sale at the store, and I just love the ease. Just like talking about opening up our canned food, I love the ease of being able to just take a handful and throw them in your food. Janet says that they did fermented okra and it was delicious. So I just really would like to find out more about that. Um, let's see. Michelle says she shreds her zucchini and then it is ready for breads and muffins. So Michelle, do you like dehydrate it? Or do you freeze it from there? That's what I had thought about doing, was freezing it. But you know, I guess it really could be dehydrated, and it would take up less room, and then it wouldn't have to be put in the freezer. Oh, okay. Here, Michelle says it later that okay, yeah, she shreds it and then dehydrates it. So yeah, Roy and Faye says they'd like to make applesauce, but the apples don't grow very well in Southwest Alabama. Um, and she wants to know what kind to use from the store. I guess the Red Delicious. I'm behind on all the comments again. I forgot I have to keep pushing it up. But I'm blessed that my friend that orders with the Mennonite group, they actually do apples too, and so that's how I make my applesauce. I buy. I think it's like. I think it's a 20-pound box, and it may cost $30 to buy the box, or maybe I'm wrong, but I can't remember. But it's really not that expensive when I buy the apples in bulk. And I know I've got. I guess it depends on what you like. I hate to even tell you what kind of apples to get, because I always ask my friend, because she likes the tart apples, and that's the kind Tommy likes, and the kids like those the best. So I'm not sure if that's the Jonathan, or if the Jonathan is the sweet. But Tommy like, and my kids like a little yellow. It's a yellow apple and it's kind of tart, and that's what I'll get for them. And then I like a more of a Red Delicious, the sweeter apple, and I like a mealy apple. And I get that from my mama, but anyway, but Tommy doesn't. He likes the crisp crunch of the apple and the tartness. Let's see. Jana says the Gala or Macintosh apples are good for making applesauce. Beth says Donna and Macintosh. So that's good. Yes, the dried apples, Rain Country Homestead. That's one thing I do. I dehydrate my apples, and I haven't ever made a pie with them, but I love to be able to put. I make homemade granola cereal, and it's very good. and I will take, and it, once you dehydrate your apples, all you have to do, and I have some that are like 2 years old, they're still good, and I just take scissors and I just cut them with the scissors like that. Yeah, Roy and Faye love the Granny Smith. And Tennessee Sue says Jonathan is tart. Okay, I remember that name, but I just couldn't remember if that's the one I like or if that's the one that I get for Tommy. So, oh, I haven't put the apples in my kombucha. Hadn't thought about that. Where did that go? That was Farmer Mimo. Oh, that's a good idea. Now, what about, could I use my dehydrated ones, I guess? I guess I could. I don't know why not. Oh, yeah, Dan said they're expecting a lot of heat. A lot of heat this over there. And, well, golly, that's terrible. I just really went blank in Australia. So, gosh, yeah, you might just need to spread a sheet out and put everything out, and you'll have a huge dehydrator then. And thanks, WeTree, for putting our information out there. Because I'm probably forgetting to say that important stuff like that. So, you know, Brenda, I haven't offered the dried apple chips to my grandson. I hadn't even thought about giving him that for a snack, but I need to do that. I have them put up because, you know, I don't have that many of them. So I like, whenever I don't have a lot of something, like I don't always put a lot of corn up. Um, some years is better than others, but I hoard it, you know. So I'll end up having some left over, but you know, and that's what I do with my apple chips because I don't always have a lot of them. Oh, and Jay Walker says Honeycrisp or a superior apple. Um, Max are his second favorite. So, oh, Faye, you want my granola recipe? That it's so easy to make granola. It's so easy, and it just takes a little bit of time. Well, it really don't take that long. I guess you could have a good batch made in about 30 to 45 minutes. So I use almost all oatmeal in my granola, and I used to do wheat puffs that you could buy at the store, and rice puffs, which I haven't seen the rice puffs in a long time, which I'm gluten-free now, so I wouldn't do the wheat puffs, but and I put almonds in it, and I'll put raisins, and I'll put my figs. I do dehydrate figs, which they're very good, and I'll put raisins and the apples in my granola. And did I say almonds? I did do almonds too. So, but and they said yes, that I can put the my dehydrated apples in the kombucha. So I'm excited about that. Oh, and Brenda says she puts cinnamon and sugar on the apple, so to dehydrate. So that sounds good. And Faye, talking about the granola recipe. Well, email us. No, like, let me be like Tommy. Granola at aldermanfarms.net, and I can send you that recipe. I've been trying to tweak it and make it more healthy. It does call for some oil. I've changed the recipe around. I did put a little organic sugar in it, and I have done it with just honey and molasses, which it turns out good. I just didn't have a lot of honey or molasses, so I went ahead and put some sugar in it to add some sweetness. And it's not a super sweet granola, but that's what I like about having your dried fruit, because when you bite into that, you get a burst of sweetness right there. So, let's see. I'm getting behind on my messages. But anyway, so I would be glad to share my recipe with you. When I was talking about the oil, what I did is I put the coconut oil in it that I had. I had some organic coconut oil, so I put that for the oil. But I've played with the ratios because it's got to have a certain amount of moisture in it, you know, to do right. I wanna try and convert it into a granola bar, because I think it would taste good as a granola bar too. So that's what I would like to try and do. Yeah, Michelle says she's hoping to get some pecans this year. What time of year does the pecans fall? I don't even know that. My neighbor across the street, Tommy, the greatest neighbor in the world, always blesses us with some pecans. He's got a pecan tree. So anyway, yeah, We Tree had mentioned the network. Y'all, if y'all haven't seen it, y'all need to check out the Homestead Network what it is a homesteadnetwork.com. Am I telling it wrong? I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I just pulled it up. Yes, it's the homesteadnetwork.com and the homesteadnetwork.com. Oh, okay. Michelle said they're starting to fall. What state do you live in, Michelle? No, anytime now, Big Bear says. So I need to look. There's some pecan trees somewhere on this property because back at our camp, that's way back, kind of like in the middle of our property, way away from our neighbor's tree. We've had a squirrel get in there and make a nest, and there's pecans in there. So I know somewhere on our property there's a pecan tree. So I want to try and find them. But anyway, I want to tell you about the lineup tonight. There and more is being added. So let's see. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a lineup every night, every one of those nights. So you'll need to go check out the Homestead Network, and yeah, I'm sorry. Michelle's in North Carolina, so our pecans, I guess, should have already started falling by now since we're a little further south than you. But anyway, coming up at 6 Central is Big Family Homestead, then Off Grid Nation, then J&J Acres, which is a new show. I think this is going to be his third show this week. He's a friend of ours. We've known Jared and Jennifer for quite a few years now. I think him and Tommy became Facebook friends through a site somewhere or something. They met up, and so Tommy's actually been to their place. They've been down here to our place a couple of times. So go and check his show out. It's on at 8 Central, and then Homesteadonomics is on at 10 Central. So, but anyway, it's a really good lineup, and we've really enjoyed watching some of the shows throughout the week. Sometimes it's kind of hard because, Tommy works till about 5, and we have to get outside and do some of our evening chores, but we do try and catch up during the week and check out what's going on. I think it's Go for Green. I get everything confused. But I think it's Go for Green Living. I'm almost 100% positive. He's doing a live show showing how to put together an aquaponic system. And so I have been trying to catch up on that and watch that because I'm starting to study it. I'm trying to learn about it because I think I would like to do it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to grow lettuce more year round by doing it with using shade and everything. But also, I want to do it for the fish. I want to be able to raise my own fish and everything, and I really would like to be able to add that to our diet. That's one thing that our diet is really lacking. And when I look at buying the canned fish and like tuna, I mean, it's just some things just aren't good to be buying canned and stuff like that. But anyway, I thank y'all for y'all's feedback. I feel like it's been educational for me. I feel like I've learned a lot. I hope you've learned something too, if not from me, but from each other. And I just am I'm interested to know what other people are doing to preserve their food. One thing that I want to bring up, and maybe one of y'all know about this. I have found very little information on it on the internet. I haven't looked lately, probably in the last few years, so there's maybe more out there. But and I'm not telling you to do this because I know it could be very dangerous, but my mama is 93, and like I told you, her dad lived to be 106. And so she remembers some things, but she doesn't remember all the exact things. I would be scared to do this going by what I'm fixing to tell you. But when they would slaughter a hog, they would render the lard, and they would make sausage patties, what we'd call breakfast sausage, and then they would fry them out. They would fry the pork chops. Let me think what else. But the smaller pieces of meat, they would cook them till they were completely cooked. Your sausage patties, your pork chops, and I don't remember if Mama said anything else. I need to ask her. But anyway, they would have rendered the lard and everything, and they would have their barrel, and they would put a layer of lard, then they would put a layer of their sausage patties, and then they would do a layer of lard, and they'd do pork chops, and they'd do it all the way up till their barrel or their crock was full. But you know, meat, lard, like I said, fully cooked lard. And Mama said, you know, whenever you wanted, you know, a pork chop or to cook sausage for breakfast, you just reached your hand in the lard and pulled out what you wanted and put it in a skillet and fried it up, you know, got it hot and everything. It was already cooked. So yeah. Anyway, so I just am curious if anybody has knows about that, has heard of that. Sometimes the old ways are not are a good way, you know, just like my Papa's pepper sauce. So anyway, I'm just curious to know if any of y'all have heard of that or tried that. Yeah, and somebody said my pigs are getting my pecans. Well, you're exactly right. I might not be able to find them this year, but next year I'm not going to have this many pigs. Mark my words. We're going to get rid of some of the pigs and be able to control them better. So next year I can find pecans. I know we do have hickory nuts, and I do want to go collect some of those for smoking and smoking some meats and everything. Anyway, but I'm trying to watch the clock because I don't want to go over my time. Okay, Farmer Mima says never heard of that. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Tommy wanted me to remind y'all that the audio for our show is available as a podcast on Alderman Farms Radio on iTunes. So he had sent me a message, but I forgot about that. Oh, okay. Donald says that he's heard of packing meat in lard. Not sure he would try it. I know, I'm not sure I would try it either. But I just was curious. I wish, you know, we really weren't into this kind of living, you know, kind of living off the land and trying to provide for ourselves when we had just moved here and maybe been here a year or two when Papa died. And I did get to ask him questions and everything somewhat, but, you know, we live even more like he used to live. In fact, I'm going to tell you something about Papa. During the Great Depression, you know, they gave out stamps for you to go get food, flour and sugar and stuff like that from the store and everything. And they my papa and them, and they had 7 kids. Let's see. Yeah, 7 living kids. They had 8, but 1 died after birth. And anyway, so there was 8 kids, so there was 10 of them. No, what did I say? There's 7 kids, so there was 9 of them. And they actually gave their stamps away to people that were more needy because Papa had a cow that he milked, and he had vegetables in the garden. And it wasn't that you were poor that you got the stamps. You got the stamps because things were rationed. And anyway, so I just, you know, I would want to be able to be in that position to say, you know, that's okay. I don't need the stamps. We have plenty here. So anyway, I just think that's pretty cool. Yeah, and we have a new video up about our Freedom Rangers and about making juice from muscadines and also making muscadine jelly. And, you know, you would have to follow the recipe as far as the sugar and stuff for another fruit, but it would be very similar to get the juice and to make jelly from other fruit. It'd be very similar to the muscadine. I see somebody, I was talking about smoking salmon. I'm gonna have to say that while I was at Sam's, I finally found some salmon that was not processed and made in China or raised in China. This is Alaskan salmon, and so I bought it. I've never eaten fresh salmon before. I just never have. I buy the canned salmon and make salmon patties. My mother-in-law taught me how to do that. But anyway, so my son, my youngest son, Corey, my oldest son, Cameron, is in Oregon, so he eats salmon all the time, and it kind of makes me jealous because I've wanted to taste it, and I mean, I've never had the opportunity, And so Corey, my youngest son, actually grilled salmon for us today. Somebody was talking about smoking it, and I guess it was kind of smoked really the way we did it, and we didn't know how to do it. So we just put my black iron skillet on the fire out there, and we just put some salt and some garlic powder and some onion powder on it, and but it was so good. It was really, we cooked it a little too long, so it was a little dry. So we're just learning. So I just thought that was just really amazing. So I would love to be able to put salmon in my freezer like that, or can it. I think you could can salmon. Anyway, so I definitely plan on buying that more often when I go to Sam's, but that's not going to be on the menu every week because I found that it was kind of expensive, but I've been wanting to add it to our diet because it's really good for you. I have a little poem that I want to read. I hope Tommy's listening too. And looking at this, it was in this old book, this old ball book that I found at my house. I'm going to hurry and read it. I have a few more minutes. Anyway, it's called How to Preserve a Husband, since we're talking about preserving. Be careful in your selection. Do not choose too young. When selected, give your entire thoughts to preparation for domestic use. Some wives insist upon keeping them in a pickle. Others are constantly getting them into hot water. This may make them sour, hard, and sometimes bitter. Even poor varieties may be made sweet, tender, and good by garnishing them with patience, well sweetened with love and seasoned with kisses. Wrap them in a mantle of charity. Keep warm and a steady fire of domestic devotion, and serve with peaches and cream. Thus prepared, they will keep for years. So I thought that was cute. Anyway, alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and I think there's about a minute left on the time. And so, or maybe 2 or 3 minutes left. Is there anything else, Jana, that you've seen that I missed that I need to say? I just thought that poem was cute, so I just want to share that with y'all. It was just in the back of that ball book. So anyway, oh, and I meant to look up. Somebody had asked Tommy about the on my jelly, the plastic bands that I had on there. My aunt gave me those. She's not canning anymore, and so. I will try and look that up and see if I can't find any. I've never seen them before. I didn't know what they were when she gave them to me. So anyway, I'm gonna go head on out, and Big Family Homestead is coming up next. And go over and check them out. You can go to the Homestead Network, and you can actually click on their name, and it'll take you over to their YouTube channel, or you could go straight to their YouTube channel. So, oh, and somebody says trout's right next to salmon. Well, I might could raise some trout then. So, anyway, all right. I hope y'all have a great night, and I've got to get my instructions out where I'll know how to turn this off. So, Tommy says that I'll be able to. So, y'all have a great night, and head on over to Big Family Homestead. Okay.